Hi everyone, this is Sushma, Business Manager at iNotchit, and I'll be the presenter for today's webinar for Maplytics. All lines will be muted. If you want to ask any questions, you can surely use the chat window at the right-hand side. We will be having a Q&A session at the end of the webinar, and the presentation deck and the webinar recording will be shared with all of the attendees. So today's agenda will be having an overview for the latest features that we have released, and further we'll be having a live demonstration on all of the features, which will be followed with the Q&A session. So as you all know, Maplytics is a locational intelligence tool which will help you to visualize all of your dynamic CRM records on the map. So you'll be able to see all of the records in the form of pushpins or the heat of the record. So you'll be able to analyze your data, and further you can take the business decisions for your organization. Maplytics is available for CRM 2013 and above, Dynamics 365, online as well as on-premises, partner hosted, IFD as well as PowerApps. So we had our latest release into October 2019, and we also had a small update in July 2019. So within these release and update, we had added some of the features which will enhance the user experience while working on any of the record or the data set within Dynamics CRM. Further, we have also enhanced the visualization of records on the map, and we also have added some of the features that will enhance the field productivity, as well as the sales managers will be able to track the field performance of the field professionals. So the first feature that we'll be discussing will be the PCF control. So PCF stands for PowerApps Component Framework. These are the controls that can be added on any of the field or the data set within Dynamics CRM. So with the use of these controls, you will be able to visualize all of the records, respective records on the map within Dynamics CRM. The next feature we will be discussing is the pushpins on route. So whenever you plot any route, you'll be able to see the pushpins for all of the waypoints that are within the route. So using these pushpins, you can also edit the records that you have within the route. Further, we have the route navigation in Waze app as well as Google Apps. So Google Apps we already had. Now we have added another app which is called Waze app. So each user can have their own preferences in order to choose whether they want to view the navigation, turn-by-turn navigation directions within the Waze app or the Google Apps. Further, we have the feature of check-in and check-out. So as the name suggests, the field professionals who go out on the field and meet all of the customers, they can register their arrival as well as departure for the respective meetings. And further, their reporting managers can also analyze these check-in and check-out records in order to monitor the field productivity. Next feature we'll be discussing is the template with dynamic current location. So this is the feature that you can use whenever you want to have the visualize a certain search criteria for individual records. So you can have a template with a certain search criteria saved within it, and you can set that template or on the record. So whenever you individual open any record, you will be able to see the respective search criteria results. Lastly, we'll be having the territory list and the labels of map. So within this, you'll be able to see all of the territories listed, those territories which has been plotted on the map. And further, you can also see the labels for the records as well as regions that are plotted on the map. So let's start with the live demonstration of all of the features here. So as you already know, whenever you open any of the entities and you open a view within that, you'll be able to see all of these records in the form of the data set within Dynamics CRM. So now that I have added the PCF control within this, you'll be able to see all of these records plotted on the map right here within the dynamic CRM. So let me switch to the PCF control that I have added. So the first PCF control that I'm discussing here is the map view control for dataset. So as I switched to the PCF control, you can see that all of the push pins are plotted in the on the map right here. So here you can hover on any of the push pins to see the record information. So these information is configurable. You can go to the entity map in order to add or remove the information for the record. You can further click on any of the push pins in order to highlight those push pins like this. So now that you have highlighted the push pins, you can go ahead and choose any of these actions so as to perform these actions on the highlighted push pins. For example, if I click on edit, so this will give me an option of multi-edit the record. So I can give some values and that value will be set on all of the selected records. Further, I can also choose to have right click on the map for any of the record in order to open that particular record like this. Now further you can also filter these records. So for example, if I enter any of the postal codes here, for example 10301 and click on search, so this will give me all of the records that lie within the zip code 10301 like this. Or else another filter that you can use here is using the alphabets. So let me go to the read only view. So now if I go to the alphabet G, I'll be getting some of the records here. And now if I click on the PCF control, so this will give me only those records plotted on the map that fall within the alphabet G. So this is how you can filter the records as well. Further, another use that you can have using the PCF control is that you can choose to see the categorized data. So if I click on show chart here, within this you can categorize the data using the attribute. So you can see that I can have all of the categorized data based on the attribute industry. So you can see the records have been categorized based on all of the industries, and if I click on any certain industry, those particular records that fall under these industry will be filtered and get plotted on the map. I can further click on this field and I can add any more attributes here in order to further drill down. So these are the uses of the PCF control, map view control for dataset. So we are working on another control which is called the detail map control for dataset, within which you will be able to visualize all of these records on the map, as well as you can further perform some Maplytics functionalities as well on of these records. For example, proximity or the routing management, etc. So this control, detail map control for dataset, will be coming into our upcoming releases. The next PCF control that I'll be talking about is the map view control for record. So let me open any of the record here. So I have opened one of the accounts record where I have added this control. So this PCF control can be added to any record form within the field with the data type single line of text. So here you can see that I have added the control PCF control within this field, and the respective record is also plotted on the map. So here, if you hover on the push pin, you'll be able to see the address as well as longitude and latitude values for the respective record. So using this PCF control, whenever you open the record, you'll be able to see the respective push pin plotted on the map. So along with the data, you will be always be seeing the geographical aspect of the record as well. So the last kind of PCF control that we have is the map edit control for the record. So let me go to another entity where I have added this control for the records. So I have opened the entity contacts, and let me open one of the records. So this PCF control can also be added to any of the fields within the record form which has the data type single line of text. So here you can see that as I have opened the individual record, the respective record has been plotted on the map as well. And if I hover on the push pin, you can get the address as well as latitude and longitude values for the respective records. Now, as the name suggests, map edit control for the record, you can also just click on the push pin, drag it around, and then put on another location. So let's say you want to correct the geocoding for the record, you can just drag it around, and further you can click on update. And also you can just add an address over here, type in any address that you require, and further click on the update. So while you update, it also asks whether you want to update the address as well along with the latitude and longitude. Or else you can click on no in order to save only the latitude and longitude. So these were the PCF control using which you'll be able to see the respective records plotted on the map directly within the dynamic CRM. So the next feature that I'll be talking about is push pins on the route. So let me go to the detail map. Now in this release, we have also worked on performance. So while using Maplytics, you will realize that the loading of the detail map has fastened a lot. So here, let me choose a route. So I have opened one of the saved route and let me plot that. So you can see that the route has been plotted, right? So you can see all of the push pins as well for the waypoints that you have within the route. Now, if you have the waypoint as the record that is existing into the CRM, so you can hover on the push pin and you'll be getting the detail of that particular record like this. But if you have added any simply location and which is not saved as a record within CRM, so you can hover on the push pin to see only the location of that particular push pin. Further, all of these push pins records have also been listed within the view data grid. Now, if you click on any of the record that has been added within the route, so you'll be getting a tooltip card opened up like this. And if you click on the push pin, which represents only just a location, so here, if you click on this, you'll be getting a tooltip card along with the option of creating a new record. So here, using this button, you can create a new record for the push pins that represent just a location. Now, the most important use of this feature is that whenever the salesperson is on the field, they can simply open the push pins which they have met for the customers and they can further edit those records. For example, I am as a salesperson, I have the work of meeting all of these schools and getting the order for school furnitures. So what happens after meeting every single school, I can open the respective push pins here and I can choose to right click to open the respective push pin record like this, or I can simply click on the push pin in order to open the tooltip card here. I also have the tooltip card action called the open record. Now I can open the record and I can edit the field where I have to put the number of furnitures for which I have got the order for. Further, I can also add some attachments or create a task or add some notes for the respective records. So using this feature, the salesperson while on field, they can open the record and add attachments, notes, or create the task for the respective record for which they have gone to meet. Further, the feature that we'll be discussing is route navigation in Waze app or Google app. So now that I have plotted the route, now I can redirect myself for the turn-by-turn navigations. So I have this button. If I click on this, I'll be getting some links. So if I click on the links, I'll be redirected to the Google Maps. So the reason for this is that within my configurations, I have chosen the Google Maps as my default app in order to visualize the turn-by-turn navigation directions. Now, as I said earlier, each user can have their own preference of having their own preferred app for the visualization of navigation links. Now, I have also logged in using another user, which is William. Now, William has within his configuration, he has chosen Waze app to be his default app in order to visualize the navigation links. So here, if William clicks on the open navigation link button, so he'll be seeing some of the links. So if he clicks on this, this will navigate him to the Waze app like this. And Waze app always shows the links in the form of current location to the next waypoint. So using this feature, each user can have their own preference whether they want to see the navigation links using Waze app or Google Apps. Further, the next feature that I'll be talking about is the check-in and checkout. So whenever the salesperson goes to meet any of the customer, the most important thing is that the salesperson reaches on time, as well as the salesperson gets the required output from the meeting. So let me choose a route. So let's say the salesperson is following this route. Now, whenever the salesperson reaches any of the meetings, the salesperson can simply click on the pushpin and he'll get the tooltip card opened up. And within this, the salesperson will get the button for check-in. The salesperson can simply click on this, and this will get the check-in record created within the CRM. Further, after finishing the meeting, the salesperson can again open the tooltip card, and the salesperson will get the button of checkout. So he'll directly click on this and get the checkout record created within the dynamic CRM. Another way of creating the check-in and checkout record is by opening the record like this. So if I open this record, so I'll be getting a button for check-in, using which I can create the records for my in and out time for the respective meetings. So here, if I click on this, I'll be getting the button for check-in. So this is also much easier for the salesperson while going on the field and using their phone or tablets to check in or check out. So this was the one aspect of use of check-in feature. The another aspect of use of this check-in feature is the aspect of the sales manager. So after the field professional team has checked in and checked out, the sales manager would be able to plot all of these check-in and checkout records and analyze the field productivity of the sales team. So for that, sales manager can simply go and select the entity of check-in. Now you can see I have so many options for selecting active check-ins or checkouts, today's check-in or checkouts, etc. So let me choose the check-ins for William salesperson. So I'll click on search. So let me just clear this route here. Now you can see all of the check-ins have been plotted here. And you can see that check-ins pushpins are into two kinds of pushpins. One is the usual pushpin and another pushpin is having a cross within this. So the two kinds of pushpin represent a valid pushpin and an invalid pushpin. So basically this pushpin shows that this check-in is an invalid record. And further, this pushpin shows that this is a check-in for an invalid record. I'm sorry, this one is for valid record. So let me just explain the logic that we use in order to define the accuracy of the check-in or checkout records. So let me go to the settings. And within this, I'll be going to the Maplytics configuration detail records. So within this, I'll be choosing the record with no user, which is the default configuration detail record. So here you can see another additional tab of check-in. So this is the place where you can have the settings for the check-in. And you can see that you can have the option of opting out for the checkout as well. So we have default radius within this. So what is default radius? So whenever the salesperson is within this default radius and the salesperson checks in or checks out, the records will get created, but those records will be created as the valid record within CRM. But if the salesperson is outside this particular default radius, he will be able to check in or check out, but those check in check out records will be saved as invalid records within dynamic CRM. So these invalid records will be shown as these pushpins with a cross, and the valid records will be shown as these pushpins without the cross. This is the default value for default radius. You can surely change this. Further, you can also choose whether you don't want to have the invalid records. So in that case, you have to enable the geofencing. So now what is geofencing? Geofencing is creating a virtual boundary for the salespeople. So whenever the salespeople is within this boundary, they will be able to check in or check out. But if they are outside this boundary, so they will not be able to check in or check out. So this way, you will be having only the valid check-in check-out records for the salespeople. So this is how the sales manager would be able to differentiate between the pushpins and monitor the field productivity. Further, the sales manager can right click on this and they have the option of show related records. So if I just click on this, I'll be getting the respective record for which this particular check-in was created. I can also click on the check-in pushpin in order to open the tooltip card, and here's the button for hide related record as well. So this is how sales manager can plot all of the check-in and check-out records, differentiate between the valid and invalid pushpin, and they can analyze the field productivity of the salespeople. So this was the check-in and check-out feature. Now I'll be moving ahead for our next feature, which is called the template with the dynamic current location. So I'll be going to the opportunity entity where I have added this template. So let me open one of the record here. So within this, I have added the template into the tab here. So you can see here, I have added a web resource that shows the template. Now let's take an example and try to understand the use of this particular feature. So for example, I have a business and I provide the service providers for all of the requests which I get. So whenever I get a request, I simply open the record of that particular request, and now I need to visualize all of the service providers which are available within the proximity of a certain miles from the request records location. So now you can see that I have opened the request record and I have been able to visualize all of the service providers within the proximity of the required radius. I can hover on any of the pushpin to get the line of sight distance as well. So using this proximity search and the line of sight distance, I'll be able to decide which of the service provider is the nearest to the records location. And accordingly, I can assign the respective service provider for the respective request. Now, just like here, using this feature, you can have the visualization of the nearby records for each of the record. So how it is done? Firstly, I plot a proximity search and then I save it as a template without the current location. And then I set that particular template within this field. So now that I have saved this template without the current location, while plotting this record and this template within this location for this particular record will be fetched as the current location within this. So here you can see that the current location has been fetched from the related record of this particular opportunity. Respectively, if I open any other record, so it will get the respective location of that particular record as the current location, and it will give you all of the nearby records within the proximity for that particular record. So likewise, you can use this feature to have the visualization of the nearby records with respect to each individual record whenever you open that record. So this was the feature of template with dynamic current location. Now I'll be moving ahead for the features territory list and label on map. So let me go and open the detailed map. So within this, I'll be plotting some of the territories. Let me choose the option of by territory. I have chosen some of the territories that fall under the Staten Island, and I have chosen the respective view. So you can see all of the territories have been plotted and the respective records have also been plotted. So let's assume that you are the sales manager and you are the handler of the territory management. And using the territory management tool within Maplytics, you have created all of the territories and you have aligned the territories using the territory alignment tool within Maplytics. And after that, you are working on all of the territories. But for now, you have to work only for some of the territories within those all of the territories that have been plotted. So previously you had to go to this particular field, you had to remove the territories from here in order to work only for some of the territories. But using the territory list, you can have all of the territories listed within this list, and you can simply uncheck some of the territories in order to work only on some of the required territories. And further, you can also recheck on this in order to show the territories. So this way you do not need to remove the territories from the map, right? And you can also further click on this button to hide that territory list like this. The last feature that I'll be talking about is the labels on map. So let's say you want to see the labels for all of the regions and the pushpins that has been plotted on the map. So here previously you had to hover on the regions or on the pushpins in order to view the labels on the map. So now we have added the two buttons here for the layers. So let me just hide this layer of records first. And here you can see there's an I button which is called the show labels button. If I click on this, this will show me the labels for all of the regions that I have plotted. So you do not need to hover anymore on all of the regions, and you can directly see all of the labels for the regions that I have plotted. Further, if you want to see the labels for the records, you can surely do that. So let me just show the records. And further, if you click on the show labels button for the records, so this will show all the labels for all the records that have been plotted here, like this. So again, you do not need to hover or click on any of the records in order to show the labels for the records. So these were all of the features that had been added into our latest release. So I'll be starting a poll here. So you can just choose all of the features that you feel that might be helpful for you. So let me just start the poll. Please put your vote here. I'll be waiting for another 30 seconds for the poll. Thank you so much for your votes. Now that we have released the latest version of Maplytics, I would request you all to go and download the latest version of Maplytics solution. And for that, you can go to the Maplytics app source or the website, and you can download and install the same within your Dynamics CRM.